So for the sole purpose of self-realization, we are studying the nature of the soul, 6 fundamental nature, or say 6 fundamental truth regarding the nature of the soul. First being its existence, second being the everlastingness or eternity, the third regarding the soul's doership, and Prabhu has written, Atma karta che. Karma no karta che is not written. Meaning karta panu or the doership of the soul even remains when he attains the ultimate siddhahood. Doership will remain, but doership of karma does not remain. Doership of the manifestations of the true nature, that will remain. So I always used to give an example of, say, with a plain book. So siddhahood means the first second it's like this, second also it's like this, but every second there is a doership. So the soul is active even when it attains siddhahood. So the third fundamental is soul is the doer. The argument was regarding the doership of karma. But the fundamental truth is, because I don't know why some people had the question whether it will remain doer even when it attains moksha. Obviously, because that's the nature of the soul. I didn't say doer of karma, it won't remain. That is even not there when in the fourth gunstanak. We say when you abide in the self, you are the doer of your pure nature. Not completely though. But so the third fundamental is about the doership of the soul. So first is existence, second is eternity, third is doership. And the fourth fundamental truth of the soul is the receiver. So the proposition is the soul is the receiver. The doubt of the disciple is it is not the receiver of the fruits of karmas, fruits of his actions, or say fruits of the karmic particles which are bound to the soul. This is the soul's doubt, disciple's doubt. Disciple's doubt, and he presents 2 arguments for it. One which we discussed yesterday in the last session. And what was that? Karmas, the soul can be doer or receiver of the fruits, but who will give him the fruits? Is it the karmas? So karmas cannot give the fruits because they are inanimate. It does not necessarily or logically follow that if you are the doer, you are the receiver. That's what Nemiji asked me yesterday. Isn't it common sense? If it's the doer, it has to receive. But no, your cook at home, he is the doer of your dishes, food, whatever. But he might not have it. Or a cook in a restaurant, or a cook in the Premarpit hotel. એ લોકો હજી હોટલમાં નથી ખાવું એમ બોલે. So there the cook cooks. So he is the doer of that dish. But he might not be the enjoyer or sufferer, whatever. If it's not cooked well, so sufferer. So many times તમારી મમ્મી તમને ચીઝ ટોસ્ટ કરીને આપે પણ એ પોતે ન પણ ખાય. So she is the doer of that snack, but not the receiver of its fruits. So it does not necessarily or logically it has to be that if the soul is the doer, it has to be the receiver. So the whole debate, whole discussion. You understand? If it was necessary karta hoy to bhokta and akarta hoy to abhokta, it is not that. You may be akarta and bhokta, you may be karta and abhokta, you can be karta and bhokta, you can be akarta and abhokta. All four are open. So here he says it may be, means may be possible that the soul is the doer of karma. Or I accept it by your logical arguments and your explanation. It may be, आप कहो छो तो it may be, okay, the soul is the doer, but I don't understand how the soul becomes the receiver of the fruits of karma, karma phal. Karma phal. So his first argument was that karmas cannot give. Who is the giver then? If the soul is the receiver, who is the giver of the fruits? If the soul is the receiver, who is the giver of the fruits? So the first option was the karma only gives the fruit, but that is not possible because it's not a conscious entity. It has no knowledge what to give, why to give, how much to give, etc. And in verse 80 and 81, he presents another option. Because that option is gone, it's inanimate, and for the whole giving and receiving, the whole activity of giving and receiving needs conscious, it has to be a conscious activity, which the karmas cannot do because it is devoid of consciousness. So one option which is gone, now the second option. So, as the thinking of the disciple progresses, he reasons that karmas are devoid of ability to know, therefore cannot receive the fruits of karmas on their own. Therefore, it cannot give the fruits on its own, and so the soul is not the receiver. Hence, one must believe it's the inspiration of some conscious entity, because the activity shows consciousness involved, the activity of giving, receiving fruits. That activity involves consciousness, so there must be some conscious entity which can be none other than God. However, stating the difficulty which arises in harboring the belief that the God is the fruit giver. If, see, in one verse, he gives another option and says, even I don't find this correct. But I don't know how to rule it out, how to rest my doubt. I don't understand that. But this can be the only option. If karma is not the option, this can be the only option. God is the fruit giver. He dispenses justice. He delivers rewards or punishment. So this makes sense. But again, there is difficulty in accepting that. And let's see how he expresses it.
फलदाता ईश्वर गणे भोक्तापणो सदा एम कहे ईश्वर तणु ईश्वरपणो ज जाय.
So in the first line, the disciple says, I present another option by which you can establish this truth that the soul is the receiver of the fruits of action. This proposition. And in the second line he says, but I don't find it reasonable. You understand? First one did not find reasonable, first option. Second also, and so he's totally confused. Phaladata, meaning the fruit giver. the giver of the fruits of karmas. So one word if you want to write, fruit giver. Phala, fruit, data, giver. ફળદાતા ઈશ્વર ગણીએ ગણીએ એટલે આપણે જો એવું માનીએ કે ફળદાતા હુ ઇઝ ધ ફળદાતા ઈશ્વર સો ધ ગિવર ઓફ ધ ફ્રૂટ્સ ઓફ કર્મસ ઇફ યુ ટેક ગોડ ટુ બી if we consider it the function of God. ભોગતાપણું, then the soul being the receiver, ભોગતાપણું સધાય, meaning can be established. We can believe that the soul is the receiver if we establish that God is the giver. Give, God gives, the souls receive. એમ કહે ઈશ્વર તનુ, meaning by stating this that God is the fruit giver, ઈશ્વર પનુ જાય, his godliness only goes away. You understand? So the short meaning. If God is accepted as the bestower or giver of the fruits of karmas, then it can be established that the soul is the receiver of the fruits of action. However, if this is accepted, this means God as the fruit giver is accepted, God will lose the state of godhood. And if God is accepted as the fruit giver, then godliness cannot be associated with him. Means state of godhood goes away, meaning godliness cannot be associated anymore with the God. I don't know how passionate and enthusiastic you people are, but the disciple is. He's not tired. મને કહી દો ને સાચું શું છે. No, whatever doubts arise in his mind, he needs them to get resolved logically. So the disciple takes the whole argument to another angle. He sees the whole argument from another angle. And he states that the proposition can be valid. What is the proposition? That the soul is the proposition, I said. The soul is the receiver of the fruits of actions. That can be valid only on one condition, and that is if God is the giver. And then he feels the problem to solve થઈ જશે અહીંયા. God is the giver, soul is the receiver, and it's over. But then the problem of the receiving factor is solved, but then God there's no godliness now associated with God. Why? Because if God is the giver, then he is no more than an accountant who keeps the accounts of all the souls meaning infinite souls. ગુજરાતીમાં બોલું તો અનંત જીવો, ક્ષણે ક્ષણે, every moment are receiving the fruits of their past deeds or karmas. So imagine March ending જેવું કંઈ રહેશે જ નહીં God માટે. Constantly, every second of every soul, meaning Ananta Jeev, so he will be totally engaged in this worldly entanglement, prapancha. So what are you doing? You are reducing God to the status of accountant or a mere judge who judges your actions, decides whether you should be rewarded or punished, and does so. So what are you doing? God is another name for a busy accountant or a mere judge. So, if God is the bestower of the fruits of actions, then godliness does not remain with God. And if you don't accept God as the fruit giver, then the soul no more remains the receiver of the fruits of actions. So it's a proper mess. आ मानो तो आ जाए, आ मानो तो आ जाए. See, the disciple feels that inanimate have no knowledge to give fruits, karmas. Therefore, the soul cannot be proved as the receiver of the fruits of actions, meaning the karmas cannot be the giver of the fruits because they are inanimate. So one has to accept some animate entity, some conscious entity, જે બધા જ સોલ્સનું મેનેજ કરે. So it cannot be the soul. You can't run your family. 4-5 જણનું મેનેજમેન્ટ તમે કરી શકો નહીં. So it cannot be an ordinary soul who manages the accounts of the karmas of all the souls. So it has to be a supreme soul. So supreme soul being God. And God decides and gives punishment or rewards. I start with rewards, not punishment. Netato will start hating God. So he will decide whether to reward you or punish you. But you need a conscious supreme being for that. Say a thief who commits a robbery, crime. Does it get punishment by its own? The moment he commits a robbery, and he needs a judge who decides what punishment, when, why, everything. So, say Indian Penal Code, IPC, Bollywood. So, IPC Dhara 420. What is that? Forgery, cheating. એટલે જે બી ચીટર હોય તો કે 420 છે. So there is a book of law, penal meaning penalizing, how to penalize, how to punish, how much to punish. There is a proper law by the constitution. And IPC માં પણ judge is also not independent. I feel you are very bad, you must go, you must be hanged. He can't. He has to judge, then refer to the law book, and then dispense justice. So even in the worldly activities, you see, if someone commits a crime, sin to na boliye, so commits a crime, guno, paap nahi. There is nothing like paap in the worldly activities. It's guno, crime. And a crime kare, so you need a judge to judge, decide and deliver justice. So even in the worldly activities, you cannot say the act itself gives the fruits. You murdered someone and you get hanged. You need police, you need the whole law system, and then you have to go to jail, you'll be hanged in the jail. You cannot be given a punishment that you will be hanged in your bathroom or in your kitchen or in your garden. You will be hanged in the jail, meaning you have to go to jail for that. So you need places like heaven and hell also. Designated places. You understand? That will be the next verse. That will be the next verse. So, even a thief who commits robbery does not get the fruits on its own, by its own, but needs a judge to decide and dispense justice and deliver 3 Ds. Besides, dispense and deliver the consequences. So, if God is considered to be the giver, the problem is getting solved. If God is considered to be the giver, then you can accept the soul as the receiver. So first line, actually the problem was getting solved. Our problem was getting solved to prove that the soul is the receiver of the fruits of karmas. So that problem was getting solved, but another problem arises. And what is that? Aim kahe, if you say this way, if you say like this, if you establish God as the fruit giver of your karmas, the soul becomes the receiver, that problem gets solved. But એમ કહે ઈશ્વર તનું ઈશ્વરપણું જ જાય. Godliness goes away of God. God, the state of Godhood, cannot be now associated with God. And why? Why? This is so easy. એમ કહે ઈશ્વર તનું ઈશ્વરપણું જાય. See, isn't it said in Bollywood movies ma ke the incomplete justice of the court is completed by God in heaven. Or say heaven છોડી દો, but is completed by God. બોલિવૂડ જોતા જ નથી તમે? એક વર્ષથી જોયું જ નથી? જોયું છે? So this is a famous dialogue. If you see 2-3 movies, તો એકાદ મૂવીમાં હોલીનો સીન હોય, એકમાં રક્ષાબંધનનો સીન હોય. Somewhere Holi or Rakshabandhan has to come because that gives the turn to the whole. So one falls in March and one in August. So something, and the incomplete justice of the court will be completed by God. Isn't it said? And if God is not the giver of the fruits of actions, if God does not dispense justice, because આપણે injustice થાય ને ત્યારે થાય એ તો જુએ છે, એ ન્યાય કરશે. We have that hope. How much ever I have been misjudged here, but I won't be misjudged by a supreme, impartial, pure entity called God. That is the hope. Everyone calls me, judges me wrongly, but He won't. So somewhere our emotions need some impartial, pure entity which at least dispenses justice. Whether He's a giver of the fruits or not, but at least He dispenses justice. Otherwise, what is the sense of making His statues, installing His statues, calling Pratishta, or offering your prayers to Him, if He's not going to do anything? If He's not going to do anything, He's just going to be knowing everything, but not doing anything. So much injustice on me is shown towards me by people, and still He's my God, still He'll just be seeing, knowing, but not doing anything, not even uttering a word, bicharo nirdosh che, he's innocent, don't harass him. He won't even say that. So it holds no importance making big temples for Him, installing His statues, offering His prayers. Are you understanding? Somewhere, if He's the creator of the universe or not, we are not bothered. But at least He should be the dispenser of justice. At least we can expect that much from that one supreme, pure, impartial, all compassionate, Dayalu, Krupalu, Bhagavan. Right or wrong? That should be someone like the employer. Like he pays the wages according to the work done to his employees. Employer, he checks કેટલું કામ કર્યું, how much work has been done, and then pays the wages I'm saying, accordingly. Similarly, we need a God who repays all our, He rewards all our good deeds and forgives us for our sins. Why punishment? જ્યારે God જ માનીએ છે તો પછી who rewards us, appreciates us in front of everyone, acknowledges our good deeds, and then when we say sorry, michhami dukram, He forgives us because He's compassionate. I had a question in my final MA exams, second year. So I had taken theology, meaning study of God from different angles. And I had to write, God cannot be just and compassionate at the same time. Just meaning dispenser of justice. So if I have to do justice, I'll say he's wrong, she's right, he's wrong, and this is his punishment. This is to dispense justice. So if you consider God, from the moral arguments, it is considered that God is the ultimate judge and he will not let you go unrewarded or unpunished. So there is someone like God. So do you want God as just, means who can do justice, dispel justice? Or do you want God as a compassionate, who forgives you, who does not punish you? Bolo, bolo. So you say, when I'm right, I want this, and when I'm wrong, I want that. When I'm right, I want the wrong to be punished. So I want God to be just. And when I'm wrong, આ વખતે માફ કરી દો ભગવાન, બીજી વાર નહીં કરું. Don't punish me. See how our but we are studying metaphysics right now. And there is no place for your emotions there. Whatever is explained. Not what you want or what you aspire. So understand the concept of God is it is getting complicated. So my mama was saying, so I was talking about Ashuchi Bhavna, during Shan Sudharas. So we had that Ashuchi Bhavna and Akhu Sharirnu Swarup with all the dirtiness and all that. So he said, how can you call a body dirty? It is such a fantastic gadget. Imagine the automatic, food આમ જાય ત્યાંથી સ્ટમકમાં, ત્યાંથી ઇન્ટેસ્ટાઇનમાં, લિવરનું એક કોન્ટ્રીબ્યુશન, સ્પ્લીનનું એક કોન્ટ્રીબ્યુશન, પછી બીજું શું હોય? પેલું ડાયાબિટીસ સાથે પેનક્રિયાસનું કોન્ટ્રીબ્યુશન, અને every organ is independent also and interdependent also, right? Such a fantastic gadget. કે અહીંયા આમ સ્લાઇડ દબાવીએ અને બ્લડમાં કંઈક ફેર પડી જાય, એક ગોળી લઈને આખા પ્રેશરમાં ફરક પડી જાય, અને such means no human can actually create such a gadget. You can call body a fantastic gadget, right? એનું જ કિચન છે, એનું જ બાથરૂમ છે, એનું જ ડાઇનિંગ છે, everything is in the body only. શું સિસ્ટમ છે જો તો ખરા. અહીંયા કંઈક વિચાર આવે, આ ખાવું છે, પછી આ ખાય, પછી આ પચાવે, પછી પેલું કાઢે. એવરીથિંગ ઇઝ સો ફેન્ટાસ્ટિક ગેજેટ. જસ્ટ થિંક ઓફ ધ એનાટોમી કહેવાય કે શું કહેવાય, કે જે બી હોય, જસ્ટ સ્ટડી ઇટ એન્ડ યુલ રિયલાઇઝ કે ધીસ ઇઝ નોટ મેન મેડ. A mother can't create such a thing. It must be the God who has created this that way. It is. So you can call a body and fantastic gadget. You can call a body a complex gadget. કોમ્પ્લેક્સ છે, એટલું કોમ્પ્લિકેટેડ છે, પેટમાં દુખે અને કેટલી વખત પેટના ડૉક્ટરને ખબર ના પડે કે કેમ પેટ દુખતું હશે. એટલું કોમ્પ્લેક્સ છે આખી સિસ્ટમ કે કયા કારણથી ટોટલ સાયકોલોજીકલ બી હોય, ટોટલ કંઈ છે જ નહીં તકલીફ. અને કાં તો પેટમાં તકલીફ હોય, કાં તો આજુબાજુના કોઈ ઓર્ગનમાં તકલીફ હોય. એના એક્સપર્ટ્સને, એના સ્પેશિયલાઇઝડ કરેલા લોકો પણ એમ કે ભાઈ કંઈ સમજ પડતી નથી, રિપોર્ટ કઢાવો, 10,000નું પાણી કરો, પછી કંઈક અનુમાન કરશું, પછી કંઈ પછી બી પછી બેઝિકલી ચીર્યા વિના ખબર નહીં પડે. પણ સર્જરી માટે અમે તૈયાર ન થઈએ ટીલ યુ ડોન્ટ ટેલ અસ વોટ ઇઝ ધ પ્રોબ્લેમ. જે ઠોકો હોય તે ઠોકે. સો યુ કેન કન્સિડર ધ બોડી as a fantastic gadget, a complex gadget, a gandu gadget. If you see the saint speaking કે અરે સંડાસ લઈને ફર્યા કરો છો તમે. હા, સંતોની અનુભવવાનીમાં જ છે કે આ ઝાઝરું લઈને ફર્યા કરે છે તું. હા, જસ્ટ ઇમેજિન તમારે બે પ્લાસ્ટિક બેગ રાખવાની હોય હાથમાં, એકમાં યુરિન, એકમાં સ્ટૂલ કે લેટ્રિન કે બેન્જો કે બેન્જો ઇઝ ધ જાપનીઝ વર્ડ ફોર ધ હોલ થિંગ. સો જસ્ટ ઇમેજિન ઓલવેઝ બે કોથળી લઈને ફરવાનું હોય, એકમાં જનરલ વર્ડ બાથરૂમ જઈએ છીએ, આપણે બાથરૂમ જઈએ છીએ એમ કે બધો યુરિન, અને એકમાં જસ્ટ ઇમેજિન આખો દિવસ ડાઇનિંગ ટેબલ પર બી પહેલાં બે કોથળી બાજુમાં મૂકવાની, પછી જમવાનું. Just because the plastic bag is covered by skin, you don't realize. Only when you are passing some gas or something, you realize કે સારું બગડેલું છે પેટ. So some say it is fantastic, some say it is complex, some say it is so dirty, different angles. So here we are saying that God cannot be just and compassionate together. If he has to dispense justice like a judge, so the person can be his relative also, the person who has murdered, and he has to give him punishment. So either he becomes just and he has to punish, or he has to be compassionate. Chalo, NRI છે માફ, બીજી વાર નહીં કરતા. So compassionate, then you will say he is partial. So some element in you wants a compassionate God, and when he does not show the compassion of your expectation, that moment he becomes partial. So you want, નહીં એવું કંઈ નહીં, બધા માટે સેમ રાખો તમે. Don't be partial, be just. That also you won't like, because you want કે હવે આટલી નાની ચીજમાં તમે મને આટલું પનિશમેન્ટ નહીં આપો. Forgive me now. Give me a second chance. Even we give our employees a second chance. આમ બધાને ફાયર નથી કરતા આખો દિવસ. So you decide and tell me, I'm waiting. You want a God who is just? I have written 20 foolscaps on this. One line no question. 25 marks, only 4 questions hoy. 25. In the paper of Jainism, I did not attempt the 4th question. 3 questions only, because દિલથી લખતો હતો, એટલું બધું જૈનિઝમ ભરાયેલું. So actually I planned everything, but what happened that day I don't know. So જેને જુદા પેપર લીધા હોય ને, પણ એક બે સ્ટુડન્ટ્સ જ હોય, એ બધાનું એક ગ્રુપ હતું સિડનમ કોલેજમાં. So some had taken Jainism, some had taken some other people. So at that particular time, I was the only person attempting Jainism. So I knew I'm going to come first. Because I was the only person who had... So 4 questions. And the first one was on Anekantvad, Syadvad, Naivvad, some complex question. Dilti I was answering. So first I did, second I did, third I did, fourth I just started, just half a page I wrote, bell rang. So હવે મને માર્ક્સ કેટલામાંથી મળવાના છે? 75 માંથી. એટલું તો ફિક્સ થઈ ગયું, because fourth I got 72. પેપર ખોલાવવાનો હતો કે એક માર્ક મેં ક્યાં ઘુમાવ્યો. I went to my dean and કહ્યું કે પેપર ખોલાવવું છે. What else they wanted in this answer? So મને ખબર છે that fellow, Professor Antarkar, I was talking, હાથ જોડીને મને કહે છે, રાકેશ, the examiners are instructed not to give full marks. They are instructed. Because then they will be questioned. કે તું 25 and 25 આપે છે? So they can't. So 24, 24, 24 તો તને આપ્યા. And the fourth one you have not attempted only. So the lowest I got was in Jainism. So imagine the paper on theology and different. So this question I had attempted: is God just or compassionate? So if he's just, then he's a mere judge, a good judge maybe, or an accountant. પછી આટલું બધું devotion નહીં જાગે. See, what is that upkar for what I have to show gratitude? It is knowledge and knowledge implemented. Bas. Then God will be all-knowing knowledge, omniscient, and he implements that knowledge. Bas. So there won't be any emotions for him. Right? So then there is no devotion, there is no pran in your worship, your bhakti. If you want him as compassionate, you don't have that tolerance power over. When the other person who is wronged is set free. જેને ખોટું કર્યું છે, બહુ ખોટું કર્યું છે, અને એવી તારા પ્રત્યે ખોટું કર્યું છે, and he is saying, okay, don't do it next time. You really want justice. So you are understanding the concept of God or the expectation from God is complex in the sense contradictory. At times you want him just, at times you want. You are understanding? So આમ જ problematic છે, but everyone wants an almighty God. Almighty. His decision should not be challenged because he is almighty God, he is omniscient, he is omnipotent. Omniscient means all-knowing, sarvagna. Omnipotent, potent એટલે શક્તિ. So ananta virya, as we say, shakti-shali and dayalu. Dayalu. Somewhere these are the 3 points we actually need in God, but even we don't understand how that he can dispense justice also and be compassionate also. You understand? Okay. So God, being impartial, would judge every case properly and hand over the right consequences to the right person. And સવારથી સાંજ આ જ કરવાનું, રાત્રે પણ. Day and night we have to be receiver of the fruits of our karmas, right? Every second in the night also. So imagine the workload on God. Can he go to Maldives for 3 days? Can God go to Maldives for 3 days? He may. Why are you saying no? But ત્યાંથી bhi he has to do this work only. Every moment infinite. મને લાગે infinite ને બદલે infinite બોલું તો I'm getting a little satisfaction. Infinite. આમ અનંતની ફિલિંગ આવે છે. ઇન્ફિનિટમાં આમ નાનું હોય એવું લાગે. અનંત જીવો સમયે સમયે have to receive the fruits of something. He has to actually see the whole record, accounts કરવાના, અને કે okay, give them tau just now, come on. Tau meaning fever. Oh, okay, just stop. Don't give him, he's full of devotion right now. Forget it. No, he's compassionate also, right? So imagine, એની પાસે વર્લ્ડના બધા જ બેસ્ટ સુપર કમ્પ્યુટર્સ હોય કે એમના પોતાના શક્તિના કમ્પ્યુટર્સ હોય, તો પણ he has to be properly engaged in the worldly entanglement. He would not have any time to enjoy the bliss of soul, which a sadhak gets. A sadhak can meditate for some time and enjoy the bliss of the soul. But that fellow, sorry, God, you are understanding? So this new problem is coming out. So Phal Data Ishwar Gane, if we believe that the Ishwar is the fruit giver, all our problem gets solved regarding Bhoktapanu. Regarding the soul receiving the fruits of karmas, that is solved. But aim kahe, in establishing God as the fruit giver, Ishwar Tanu of Ishwar, the Ishwar Panu, the godliness, jai, goes away. Why? So, considering God as the fruit giver, you are reducing him to the position of a mere accountant or a judge. I would like to say manager. Not only judge, જજની બી એક સારી પોઝિશન છે. પાછું ચીફ જસ્ટિસ, સુપ્રીમ કોર્ટનો જસ્ટિસ હોય તો હાઈ કોર્ટનો, પછી સુપ્રીમ કોર્ટનો જસ્ટિસનો એક સર્વિસ છે. બટ I do not even reduce him to a position of a judge. I would say, how does God dispense justice? Why should Nemi be punished? Hello? Why should he be punished? Because of his bad karmas, bad actions, bad deeds, bad karmas. Why should Riya be rewarded? So even God is not free to do whatever he wants. He has to do according to his or her karmas. So I would not call him a judge also, I will call him a good manager. He has to just manage the soul and his karmas. Munimji. He is also not free. મન થયું છે લાવ તને 5 લાખ આપી દે. નહીં, શેઠે કીધું છે કે આને 5 લાખ આપવાના એટલે આપવાના. So he just does the activity of giving, but he is not free in giving. He has to punish if bad karmas. He has to reward if good karmas. He has to reward. તમે ખાલી 25 રૂપિયાનું દાન કર્યું હોય તો એટલો જ રિવોર્ડ આપવાનો. He can't give you that barmo devlok for that. So reward or punishment is also not his choice. How much to reward or punish, that is also not choice. So why should I even say judge? I would just say manager. So what are you doing? If God I believe. But if God as a fruit giver, then instead of using the word God, why don't you say a wonderful manager who manages the accounts of infinite souls every moment? Wonderful manager. Best award apano hoy for management, so we should give God. You understand? So, considering him as a fruit giver, what are you doing? His godliness will be compromised. Because of godliness, you are calling him God, and making him the fruit giver, you are reducing his position to a manager. So his godliness is compromised. Yeah. So godliness denotes unadulterated purity. बिल्कुल अशुद्धि नहीं, शुद्ध. And what are you doing? If God is engaging in giving the fruits of the good deeds and the bad deeds of every soul to every soul, you are actually compromising his purity. His purity won't last. So why would such a God? See, the word Bhagwan comes from the word Bhag, meaning godliness. And godliness is expressed in 16 ways. I won't take it right now. Anant Aishwarya hoy, Anant Gnan hoy, Anant A hoy, in 16 ways. You should read Bhakti Magnu Rahasya. So where, 16 things that he relates, Bhogi Bhai relates these 16 points with Sadguru. And how he can be called Sadguru Bhagavan. First verse, Sri Sadguru Bhagavan. So he's explained that beautifully. I must have read in 1985. So, why should such God interfere in the functions of the infinite souls? Because this work can be done by anyone else also. He does not have to use his head or heart. 5 grams ni chori kari chhe. He has to open the book. 5 grams chori nu, acha this. So you will be punished. And this is your punishment. 5 રૂપિયાનું દાન કર્યું છે, then again I have to refer to the book, IPC. And say કે એનું this is the 1 year સજા મળે, કે 2 years સજા મળે, કે 14 years ની life sentence મળે, life imprisonment મળે, કે you will be hanged unto death. There is nothing like you will be hanged. You know the whole story. Why the whole sentence was changed. શરૂઆતમાં it was કે you will be hanged. So that person was hanged, but he did not die. So he said, the act of hanging is over. And if I have survived, I have survived. So they had to change the sentence into hanged unto death. 5 amendments thaya છે એમાં, 5. But that's not the subject matter right now. You can ask Aditya if, right? આ બધું તમે સ્ટડી કર્યું હશે તો ઉપર આવીને કે Mike upon? What are the 5 amendments? Why are you getting up when you have to sit back? છે ખરું પણ એક્ઝામમાં હતું કે યુ નો
એક્ઝામમાં હતું તો બે યાદ છે.
હા બોલો, વેરી ગુડ.
It started with the person will be hanged, but as you said that it would not lead to death all the time. So the duration of how long the person should be hanged was never fixed. So then from that it was it be hanged till death. But pachi hanged till death also was not, so then they make it hanged unto death.
Yes,
Yes,
correct. You are right. So hanged until death હતી, પછી એનું ચેન્જ કરીને unto death. It's a beautiful story. કોઈ બી law student ને તો હશે જ, એના સિલેબસમાં જ હશે, રાઈટ, કે જનરલ નોલેજમાં. Okay, criminal law, correct. Very good. So, law is interesting. So, why should this God interfere in the functions of the souls? તમારે કયા ઘરમાં શિફ્ટ થવાનું ને આ બધું, તમે 2 bedroom લખાવ્યું હોય તો 2 bedroomમાં આવે, 1 bedroom લખાવ્યું હોય તો 1 bedroomમાં. તમે જ 1 bedroom લખાવ્યું હોય ને પછી કે સાલું નાનું છે તો 1 bedroom નાનું જ હોય. તમારે 3 bedroom લખાવું હતું ને દિવાલ તોડવી જોઈતી હતી તો મોટો રૂમ થઈ જાત, ચેરી હિલ જેટલો, રાઈટ. But why should I interfere in that? Shyam can do. And Shyam is it's like God only, ne? Shyam means Krishna. Shiv also means God. એ તમારા બધા ઘરમાં એવા જ ભેગા થયા. Abhay Dayanam. So why should I interfere in this working? You have asked for this. It's available. You're given. If it's not available, you're on the wait list. So why should I interfere in this work? So let God be with godliness. Let there be some difference between Shyam and me. Shyam has nothing to enjoy, so let him work. Means the inner bliss, I'm saying. So he does not have the inner bliss, so let him do this seva. At least he'll be engaged in God's work. But at least let God enjoy his bliss. Don't remove godliness from him by saying કે ચલો હવે લિસ્ટ કરવા બેસો ને આ કરો અને એક ફાઇલ, આ બીજી ફાઇલ, આ સ્ટેપ વિલા ફાઇલ, આ સ્કોટ યાર્ડ વિલા ફાઇલ, આ રો હાઉસીસ ફાઇલ, આ પેલી ફાઇલ, આ ફાઇલ. Do you want God to do all this? Do you want Guru to do all this? So do you want God to do all this? So that's what the disciple is saying. I don't want God to fall into all this. He'll be constantly engaged. See, at times when you have to actually allocate everything according to the criteria and all, day and night you must be doing this work. Even in your dreams, કે અચ્છા પેલું પ્રમોદમાં એક પેલું બાકી છે એક one bedroom. એને આપી દેશો. પેલામાં, so day and night you are, so imagine God to give fruits of individual souls, karmas, every moment and constantly adjusting because he is compassionate also. If he was only just, then it is easy. I don't care, you are late. Shyam can say this. You are late, Ragini, you are late. In giving, submitting your form. So I can just say, you are late. But God has to be a little soft, right? મોડા આવ્યા તો શું થઈ ગયું, એને બી જે સારું આપો, એ સાધના કરવા ઈચ્છે છે, આમ કરે. So imagine if God has to be just and compassionate, means constantly adjusting now. એટલે અકાઉન્ટ્સ એક વાત છે અને પછી કોને હવે ચાલ બિચારા આવે નહીં આવી શક્યા. આપણા સિંગાપુર ગવર્મેન્ટ વોઝ ઓનલી નોટ અલાવિંગ હર ટુ કમ, તો લેટ થઈ ગયું. શ્યામ, કમાનો, do you have that power to show compassion? Then you are a partial being. Then they will say કે શ્યામ is partial. એટલે કે ભગવાનની ભક્તિ થાય કે ન થાય, શ્યામની કરો તો સારું સારું મળશે. You are understanding how complicated the concept of God would be. He is worshipping so much, he's કેટલું donation આપે છે, આપે. So even, God will be little soft on him. તો godliness નથી. Partiality આવી એટલે godliness નથી. So constantly managing and adjusting accounts of every soul, infinite souls, for your understanding, infinite souls for every moment. And then what is the use, what is the advantage of him being God? He is so busy. You get it? Okay. So why should he, see, constantly managing, adjusting consequences of the souls can be quite an uncalled intermenial work or botheration, you can say. Botheration છે. તમને હું કાંઈ કરું તો કે તમે અભયભાઈ તો so many times, સાહેબ તમે આ કાંઈ નહીં કરો, અમે કરી લેશું. કંઈ અનાઉન્સમેન્ટ કરવાનું હોય તો અપ્રૂવ છે કે બાપા યુ ડોન્ટ ફોલ ઇન ટુ ઇટ, આઈલ ડુ ઇટ, આઈલ મેનેજ ઇટ, કે આ કેવી રીતે કરું છું, નેક્સ્ટ વીક કેવી રીતે કરું. યુ જસ્ટ રિમેન ઇન યોર ઓન બ્લિસ. So if you have so much compassion on your Guru, why don't you show some daya on Bhagavan also? If you have so much out of your love and your devotion, if you don't want your Guru to be entangled in any administration, nothing, why do you want God to do all this? Understand? એમ કંઈ તારા કરવાથી કંઈ ગોડનું થવાનું નથી, but your feelings, I'm saying, you should understand કે God and godliness is something you should be worshipping. આ રીતે તો તમને God ઉપર દયા આવવાની છે. Because you will submit an application, God, I am going to Maldives for 3 days, I won't be working. God says, but મારે તો work કરવું જ પડે. I am the governing entity. So I can't even take one holiday for 1 second. So that was my first sentence, because there were many Hindu saints around me that time, Kartik Purnima, 2017. So my first thing was that God was so tired, all this, and he wanted to go on a vacation. But how can he go? He's so busy. Every moment he has to do kalyan of people. So he created Srimad Rajchandra Ji. પછી વેકેશન પર ગયા તો હજી વેકેશન પર જ છે. You understand how? Because I was surrounded by Hindu saints. So I think this was the most apt thing to speak at that time. Fine, I think uncalled intermenial botheration on God by calling him fruit giver. Managing, adjusting accounts of infinite sovereign. So, why would a dispassionate, pure, supreme being like God be indulge in day-to-day working of infinite souls? Why? So, it does not seem logical even to the disciple. This is not the answer of the Sadguru. This is the thinking of the disciple himself. If I consider God as the fruit giver, then I have compromised the godliness of God, or the God state of godhood of God disappears. And પછી નેક્સ્ટમાં what another problem arises in not considering or not establishing the existence of God. See, in establishing the existence of God, your problem gets solved. Bhoktapanu sadhai. But then another godliness problem is there. So now we don't want to consider God as the fruit giver. Then another problem arises. That is put forth in the next verse. Let's sing this.
ફળદાતા ઈશ્વર ગણે ભોગતાપણું સધાય એમ કહે ઈશ્વર તણું ઈશ્વરપણું જ જાય